Hey everyone. I've been getting a lot of questions about Exile UI, and it also has had a couple of updates. And I want to go over the new features and then answer some of these questions in video form. So let's dig into it. First off, when you're in game, if you click on the gear and then go to Updater, you can see, you might have to click this refresh button, but you can see all the updates that are available. You can see what version you're on. And then if you cursor over them, you can see some notes about what has been added to the this update. So when I did the video, I was on 6, so 7 and 8 are both out now, or 0.7 and 0.8. So this added a few things, and let's go over a couple of the main ones. One is that the act tracker now, this guide section has been modified a bit, so you can have up to 9 guides, which is really nice if you run a lot of characters, like I do. And you can set your character specifically in this slot, so it does a better job of separating out, like if you're leveling multiple characters at once. Like I have a character that I'm leveling with a friend, doesn't get to play very often, and so that character is a little bit behind, but that's not a big deal. It doesn't interact with the other guides anymore. Everything else is still here, and everything works just as you'd expect. Another part of the act tracker I wanted to mention that was already part of it, but I want to go a little bit deeper into, is editing the guide. So if you have a different route you want to go, or you want to add some notes yourself just to remind yourself of things or whatever you want to do, you can click edit here, and that'll pull open an in-game editor. You can do a lot here. You can remove an entire page, you can add a page, you can have it watch for zone areas. It gives you the zone areas on the right here, and that does update based on the location that you're in or the act that you've got selected. And so you can go through here and make whatever changes you might want to have it route differently if you want to follow a different route. All within the game. You don't have to go into some external editor. It's all right here. I'm going to make a simple edit, and I'm just going to add the word good luck the beginning, and I'm going to save that. And now that it's saved, you can see it reset back to the beginning, and it has the words I added here. So I can have some words added here. If I wanted to, I could have this like highlight in yellow by having it this quest name here. Quest item shows up in green, so you can change the colors a little bit with that. Let's say I like the green good luck, so I'm going to save that. I'm going to export it. What this will do is it'll copy it to your clipboard, which you can then paste into a text document, which you can either save this somewhere in case you want to import it later to another build, or you could send it to a friend and they can then follow the same path that you're following. To import it, it's also pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a new build, click over to that build, and I'm going to click import. It says it's successful, and you can see that it started it up and it has that good luck. I can go back into it. I can see that information is there. Maybe I want to just go back to the defaults. There's also a load defaults here. That sets it back. And then you can even hold right click on a guide to close it out, or delete that guide. So I'm no longer on that guide. That's pretty useful tips for the act tracker. Let's move on and look at some additional nice to use stuff. Under the minor quality of life tools, there's a timer. I've not been using this a lot previously, but I was actually told by Lilokin, the developer of the app, one way he uses it is to remind himself when the boats are coming in. So I've got a little over 2 hours before my boats will return. The nice thing about this is when the boats return from Kalgur, it puts a pop-up in the lower right, and that will remind you that they're done, but those pop-ups go away. If you're in the middle of doing a map or doing something that takes a little while, you might forget your boats are back. I forget every single time I've got ADHD. It does not let me remember. So having this timer, when this timer is up, it will blink red and it'll stay on your screen instead of disappearing. So you will know, hey, I'm done with the map. I need to go check on my boats. And then you can go check on your boats, send them out again, whatever you need to do. You can set timers for all kinds of stuff that you commonly forget. Very useful. I underestimated how useful that widget is for me. My favorite new addition is also in this area, and that is this map event notifications. Currently, it supports the Nameless Seer and Reflecting Mist, both of which I definitely have missed in the past. Now, when they show up, it puts something in the chat log that it can see. And when it sees it, I will just click this test. You can see right at the top, it shows up for just a few seconds and then it goes away. And you can adjust the colors, you can adjust the duration, the size. There's even different options of where to put it. I like the top, that's the default. So since this has been a thing, I've not missed one. So this is my favorite new feature of the most recent editions. So then the next new feature is an early development one called Vaal Street. So what that one does, if you go to your currency exchange and then you press tab, it will open up this window here, which you can do a couple of things here. First, you can see that it's tracked a few of my previous trades. And you can do a couple of things. You can set up some trades. Let me say I want to sell some orbs of scouring. And I want to sell them for chaos orbs. You can see right now it's 179 to 1. To 100, I mean. So I could sell this right now and get 100 chaos. You can see when I clicked into these, it copied it up here. What you can do now is be like, well, I actually want to sell it for a little bit less. You know, that'll sell faster. The 179 will sell instantly. Maybe I want to do 2 to 1. And it's like, you know what? But I don't actually want to sell 200. Let's set this to a solid 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, and then you can scroll in the middle and set it to a multiple of that. So you can set a ratio, and then you can scroll to easily have a multiple of that ratio. So that makes for easier setting of trades. In order to track trades, it doesn't actually screen read what you're trading for. So let's go back and say, oh, once you've set something, you right click in the screen to copy that down. And you can scroll to try to adjust. Be like, okay, I want, let's say I want 15 chaos back. And then I'm going to scroll till I get as close to the 179 per. And then I'm going to right click in here to get that over. And now I'm gaining chaos. So I put green chaos over here and hit place order. And it will track it. It'll put it in the graph. If you have the graph enabled, you can see the graph here. It'll see that you've added some stuff. It will have the trade. This is just a screenshot copied here. And, you know, it'll keep some tracking for that. It doesn't actually know what you're doing. So to track things, you do need to make sure you're actually putting... I'm gaining chaos, I'm gaining divine, I'm spending chaos. So that it properly tracks that, so that your trade history will show like, oh, I'm getting a whole bunch of currency because I'm selling a lot of the other currencies. You know, I'm getting a whole bunch of chaos and divines because I'm selling everything else. Like if I were to sell my fracturing shards that I have, be like, okay, I want to sell my fracturing shards. Right now, 1 is 68. So I can do that, get the ratio in, and then scroll up and say, okay, I want to do that. 12 12 to 819. That sounds good. I'm gaining chaos. Place order. So it tracks what you've set the sell to. It doesn't necessarily know. Sometimes when you sell things, it will give you back one of your items. You know, if you sell things too far away from the ratio, it'll give you not everything that you wanted to buy, or maybe some back, or some combination of the two. It doesn't know that. It's just tracking what you've said to do the trade for. So it can be just a little bit off. Another feature I want to go over to help you better use the tool is the search strings. So one website I like to use for this is poe.re. When you go here, it'll have the vendor regex up here first, and you can check as many boxes as you want for things you're looking for. It will show you the length of the max you're using, so you can add until you're up at that 250. That's the max the game supports, and then you can just copy it, and then you can use that regex. I'm going to show specifically with gambling. If you go to Expedition, it will automatically have the most valuable items that you can gamble for selected. And if you hit copy here, and then you go back into the game, and I'm going to go to Gwen and hit gamble for items, and I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to call it gamble. I calibrate it. I'm going to select the word gamble because that's unique to this window, so it'll know when this window is up if I do that. I'm going to hit test. It shows it's positive. And then I'm going to edit it because by default it doesn't have anything. I'm going to call it gamble here. When you're in here, you should be able to just paste that search string, which I have there. And then you can close that out, and now you're in this screen. You can hit your Omni key, which is usually middle mouse, and it's going to put that regex in there. Then you can be like, okay, well, there's nothing here. I want to re-roll. Ooh, there's two things I can gamble for that might get me something cool. I'm going to buy those. Nope, didn't get anything. Re-roll. Ooh, I could get something good out of that one. I don't have enough for that. You know, but you could see how that works. You can be more specific about your regex, but that'll basically be a way to use up a bunch of expedition currency to get chances at good uniques. So there's lots of ways you can use the regex. You can, if you have multiple of these and do like SFF, maybe I'm searching for specific unique for my character, so I add that. And maybe I'm looking for, I'm going to uncheck that, and I'm going to find the Lycoside Tower Shield. Even though it's not expensive, maybe I'm solo self-found, I'm going to copy that, I'm going to paste it here. And now, when I close out of here, if I go to Gwen and gamble, and I hit the middle mouse button, it's going to tell me, okay, that's my normal gamble one. Here's my solo self-found one. Gives you a whole list of whatever you had available for it. You also can use this for automatically putting in, like searching for map mods that maybe you want to re-roll, or high value that you want to sell or something. And as long as you set the screen check, calibrate it properly, it will pop up when it needs to, and not when it doesn't. So that's another thing that I wanted to go over quick that I feel like I could have done better. Let's go into some common questions. So I've been asked a few questions, and one of the ones that keeps popping up is, can using this get me banned? Well, I made a whole video about that, so if you want to go into more detail, go check out that video. Otherwise, for now, from what I can tell, this doesn't do anything that's against the terms of use. So Even the part where it is doing the screen window size, you can go to ultra wide and it will make it an ultra wide window. But if you try to go too wide, actually even this one, you can see it's got the black bars on the side. That is too wide for the game to support natively. And so being too wide for the game to support, it gives you the black bars on the side. This isn't anything that you couldn't do by having a wider screen monitor or by just having the game in windowed mode instead of windowed full screen. If you do windowed mode and then adjust it so that it, you can get the exact same view this way. So you're not really gaining anything. I like windowed full screen personally. You're not gaining anything that you couldn't already do. It's not doing anything that would be against terms of use, even with that. There are other tools that actually edit the game and let you go even wider than you're supposed to be able to go. Those are editing the game. Those are against the terms of use. Those can get you banned. There's no reason why this should, and this is the closest thing that could, so you don't have to use that part if you're worried about it. Everything else, none of it breaks terms of use. Everything is one interaction, is one action. Sometimes it's like, well, if you are changing zones and it's changing the quest log, that's no interaction equals an action. Well, it kind of isn't, because you're clicking on the zone line. That's one thing, and it's not changing anything in the game. So it's not like, one to multiple. The ones to worry about is when you're clicking one time and it hits all of your flasks, or you click one time and it hits your skills in a certain order, or multiple times in a row. Stuff like that, that's a problem. This doesn't do any of that. So as far as I can tell, this doesn't break any rules. It's not against terms of use. You should be fine, but Grinding Gear Games will never confirm a tool as for sure safe, because if they did, and then the tool adds something that is against the terms of use, then they'd possibly ban people for something they said was safe, which is not good. So they'll never say something is safe because they don't control it. Another thing is Stash Ninja. So I use Stash Ninja a decent amount. I like to go to my fragment tab, and I will look at the prices and see if I have any. Ooh, like this scarab here is worth almost a divine. So I could probably sell that scarab if I want. And you can hit 2, 3, and 4 to see different value, or all the way to 5 to see different values of items. But if this isn't working for you, sometimes what happens is the game will change something and your inventory screen check will break. And it really wants your inventory to be open to tell that, it uses that to tell. So if this test fails, you need to recalibrate. Usually that has fixed the issue. So if your Stash Ninja isn't working, calibrate your inventory screen. You should be good to go. Another thing is a little bit of clarification on the installation. So if you were to go to the wiki page, which again, the wiki page is great, you should use it. It's got more information that I've given in these videos. You go to the home page here. Make sure you install 1.1.36 and select 64-bit mode. So when you go to AutoHotkey, you go to their website, and you go to download, there's download 2.0, which sounds like what you'd want because it's the newest, greatest, but this is written for 1.1. So you actually want 1.1. It will not work with 2.0. You'd want to run 1.1. You don't have to be more specific than that. Just run the latest version of 1.1. You download that, you install that, and that's the back end that makes the whole tool work. So that's the main thing. download this, and then when you download the actual AutoHotkey script, you just run the AutoHotkey script, put it somewhere that you can find it, and run it. And that should be all there is to it. The main hang up that people run into is accidentally installing version 2, not realizing it needs the older version, not the newer version. Yeah, and then the last thing is, if I miss something, if you have any questions, step 1 is check out the wiki. There's a lot of information here that will help you with every different bit of the tool. It's up to date. It's got a lot of great information. It is linked at the top of every section, has a link right to the wiki for that section. You want to know a little bit more about Betrayal? Click here. It'll bring you right to the Betrayal setup section. And you can see even more detailed information about that section. So go to the wiki, read through that wiki about the setting you're looking for. That'll usually answer most questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to throw them in the comments below. I try to get to all the comments, and I'll answer them as best as I can. I don't always have all the answers, but I'll do my best. Or you can leave a issue on here if it's an actual issue that you're running into. That's one way you can notify Liloken specifically of the issues that you're running into, and he can help as well. And that does it. So if this video helped, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment below if you have any additional questions I didn't get to, or if you just have some features you'd like to see added next. You can also check me out live on Twitch. I'll leave a link in the description. I stream most days. I'd love to have you hang out. Have a good one.